Okay,
It's showtime.
We're live.
It says it's showtime whenever it counts down. We are live.
I know. Hi, guys. It's Charlotte and Jessica.
That's right.
We're here in beautiful Pensacola, Florida, still in hurricane recovery. We got hit pretty hard with the hurricane. Cleanup's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had one of the barges that was supposed to be building a new bridge hit the new bridge and take it out of commission. So not only were we dealing with the hurricane, but the aftermath is what we're dealing with is worse because there's a lot of people that can't get to and fro. Gulf Breeze and the beach
it's literally a 3-mile span that separates two land masses, and people travel back and forth, commute regularly to work.
So what was a 15-20 minute drive into work has now been turned into an hour and a half commute, which
I would say minimum. I haven't thankfully I haven't had to make it yet.
And people are not happy with it.
Oh no. And there was a multi-car pileup the other day.
Yeah,
shut it down.
And there's always going to be that, so you always got to watch out for that too. So luckily, the city, Pensacola, is getting back to normal after the hurricane. We've got lots of cleanup, and they've actually been doing a great job of getting everything off the streets and getting the cleanup done very quickly. Unfortunately, that we will have to be dealing with that bridge issue for a while. That's going to be with us for a while, and I think people are pretty upset, to say the least.
Cleanup is going well. I would say downtown's finally coming to a bit more of order. Last week on Friday, Perfect Plain had a wonderful group of vendors come in from Birmingham, Alabama to donate food.
That was awesome.
And I stopped by, to support and to be there. And I met a girl there that I had not met before from the city that works for the city, and she mentioned that just specifically within the city guidelines, they counted reports of almost 390 plus trees, and that's
my gosh.
They're only responsible for the ones that fall on the actual roads. So if you take into account
that's crazy.
The
that
number of
stuff
trees
that
fell in people's yards,
that's
or
across
parks.
the street that's still sitting over there.
Those are just trees that were blocking roadways within the city.
Yeah. We lost a lot,
of trees.
So I know that's crazy. So I was just laughing because Fix came over here to get some of the white wine that we're tasting tonight, and it's almost gone.
Never in our history of wine tastings has it gone down that easily.
This wine, you guys, if you don't have any with you, we're jumping the gun. We'll get to it, but just a little aside, it's delicious. So that's the hurricane, the bridge stuff. We are moving into fall. It's October 1st, believe it or not. So that's awesome. We will be having a Halloween special. We hope everybody will dress up with us. We're not gonna. We're going to continue to do this format through October. We think November is when we'll go back to doing some in-store events. We have just now started talking about holiday parties. So, and I think we're comfortable. So I don't know if you guys know, but Jessica is an event planner as well as being an awesome person and runner of the store. But bringer of joy.
Oh, thank you.
But she is an incredible event planner as well. She got many years under her belt at Portofino doing events for them out at the beach, and so she's got a lot of connections, a lot of great experience. And so if you are looking to do a small event, and we're going to keep them pretty small here at the store, but if you're looking for something interesting around the holidays, for something maybe like we've done girls' nights, just bridal showers, engagement parties.
Absolutely.
But we're going to do small right now because we're still kind of playing it safe, and the city is still enforcing the mask. So it would have to be something small. But if you are interested, call the store and get Jessica to set you up something.
Also, I think if you're moving into like a corporate event planning platform, obviously things have changed and a lot of businesses aren't really doing their normal holiday party. But if we wanted to do maybe the team of executives for an intimate wine tasting, just the group of executives, your executive team or your group of managers or a smaller group, it's such a perfect, beautiful venue, obviously location, but then also a really interesting and different, we've all sat at a table for your salad and your preset dessert kind of a holiday party, but what a cool change of pace to do something a little different. So
yeah. And so Jessica can get all that set up for you. The other thing I will say for start thinking for I think Halloween, but most people will start thinking of Thanksgiving. And so what we do for Thanksgiving every year is that we do a Thanksgiving box.
I'm excited about
offer. Jessica's going to be putting it together, probably with the help of Michael Fix. And we'll be sending those out via email, or you can call the store to get more details. It'll be a nice box. It'll have something we like to do a variety at Thanksgiving. Christmas, we could do 2 offerings. And we'll talk about that once we have at a time. But at Thanksgiving, we like to do a mixed box because you have different people coming into your house. You have so many different foods that you're serving at Thanksgiving that you kind of just need something to go with everything. So I like to make sure we have a wide variety of interesting wines for our Thanksgiving box. It's always a good price, nothing too crazy, and it's enough, and it'll satisfy your everybody that comes to sit at your table for Thanksgiving. So, and Jessica,
that sounds exciting.
That together too.
I can't wait to build it. So we don't know what it is yet, but soon.
But it's coming together. It's coming together. Just thoughts.
That's right.
It's
October.
Yeah.
We started this in March.
OND, as they say.
Wow.
Yeah, here we go. So it's the holiday season. But so tonight, how this works, and a lot of you guys have been, I see Patsy says hi, and Yvonne's watching too. Thank you guys for tuning in. And a lot of you guys know how this works. But for anybody that's new, that's watching, is so we we tell you which wines we're doing.
And people don't actually know, because we had a customer the other day, and she said it in jest, but she was like, how do you taste a wine virtually? I just don't get it. And I was like, well, let's back up. Yeah, present the wine.
And so at the end of this broadcast, I'll tell you what we'll be doing for next week. Supposedly, you will have already known what we're doing for this week and got your wines. We're doing Villa Wolf tonight, and it's an incredible winery. We've got the Pinot Gris and then the Pinot Noir. We'll invite our guest in just a sec, and we'll talk a little bit about the wines as we drink them. We encourage you to ask questions because that makes it more fun. They always like to, show off their knowledge, and we learn something too. So ask questions, feel free. Villa Wolf is the winery that we talked about. I was laughing because Fix came over and he came to get some wine, and it's like literally empty. The Pinot Gris is delicious, is what I'll say.
It is.
And we had an Aragon team meeting with German wines last Friday. So we were learning about German wines. A lot of people don't know a lot about German wines. It's probably one of my, Italy is hard just because it's so big and it's so much to know. But Germany is just one of those that you just kind of never get around to learning about. So it was nice to learn about these and some of the other ones we learned about. When you think German wines, you usually think Riesling.
That's what I was going to say. All my knowledge of German wines was Riesling.
So we decided to do two totally different. We did the Pinot Gris and the Pinot Noir. Villa Wolf is in the Pfalz region of Germany, and they've been around since
1756.
Yeah. So we're gonna get Kelly in here, and she's gonna tell us a little bit more about it. And we've got Fix on board. Let's add them in. Hi,
Fix and Kelly.
Kelly Richardson. Hi.
Guten Abend.
How is everybody?
Good. Thanks for joining us. So what I was saying is that Villa Wolf wasn't called Villa Wolf before. It's been around since 1756. It's got a long history in the Pfalz region of Germany. Tell us a little bit about the background of the winery.
Yeah, so J.L. Wolf was actually Johann Ludwig Wolf originally back in the 1700s. And for many years, it actually enjoyed a very prosperous, was probably one of the more iconic properties in the region. And in the turn of the century, it went into a couple of different hands, and it was mismanaged for quite a bit. And so then Ernie Lawson, for those of you who don't know who he is the famous Dr. L of Dr. L Riesling. And we always kid when Ernie bought the winery, we always said he didn't really buy it, he rescued it. Because it had been mismanaged for so long. It was really in complete disrepair. So he had two young winemakers at Dr. L that he really liked what they were doing, and he sent them down and basically gave them marching orders and said, go make this a great property again. I have to apologize. My computer had a massive issue and went down, so now I'm on the iPad. So in order to do the presentation, maybe Michael could do it for us. This has been the most technically difficult show I've put on since March.
Well, sorry about that, but sometimes I don't know if Mercury's in retrograde or something
It's a full
like
moon
that.
tonight. It's a full harvest moon
full
tonight.
moon, Mm-hmm. There's always something that's causing technical issues are out there.
But to speak to your tenacity, if at first you fail, try again, and you succeeded. So good job.
I think I have it there if you want to take a look at it, Charlotte, and see if we can make that happen.
So anyway, Ernie took it over in 1996. That is if you can all see that screen, that is the front of the actual chateau. The villa that's there. So when the winery was incredibly prosperous, it actually invested in building this huge Italian-like villa. To give you an indication of where it is, so you see at the top left hand of the screen is Dr. Lawson in the Mosel. And then about 200 kilometers to the south is Villa Wolf in the Pfalz. So they're right outside of the town of Wackenheim, and right along the property line are the Hart Mountains. If you go further south into France, you'll see the Vosges Mountains. So they're just basically a continuation of that mountain range. They're just called something different in the Pfalz than they are in France. One of the reasons that Ernie really was very interested in this property is that in the Mosel, for the most part, they grow almost predominantly Riesling. They do grow Pinot Blanc a little bit, but it is really dominated by Riesling. So the reason he wanted to move into the Pfalz is he wanted to kind of enjoy stretching his arms as a winemaker a little bit. So he wanted to make Pinot Gris and Pinot Blanc and Pinot Noir, and that area really afforded him the ability to be able to do that. Where the Pfalz is located, it's a little obviously further south, so the climate's much warmer. And thanks to global warming, it is even warmer still. So we have actually gotten a ton of Pinot Noir, which is a wine that we're going to be tasting later. And the wine that you're tasting probably now is the Pinot Gris. The Pinot Gris in Germany is the third largest planted varietal. So Riesling would be number one. Pinot Blanc would also be number one. Pinot Gris and Pinot Noir are number 3 in the world. So, which is pretty impressive when you think about all the Pinot Grigio that is grown in Italy. There's an aerial view of the estate. To the left is the Wackenheimer Bells, our estate vineyards. You can see it's rather large. We don't own the villa anymore. It's actually office space. But inside is a working farmhouse at the time that they've converted into, I believe, lofts. So the winery is still in there, but most of the villa and its surrounding properties were sold off. So here you see another kind of a shot of the Wackenheimer Bells. In the background, if you can see just above the winery, is the little town of Wackenheim. So in Germany, it's very similar to in the United States. So if you're from New York, you're a New Yorker. So if you're
Right.
from Bockenheim, it's a Bockenheimer. So when you see things like that on the label, it gives you an indication of what the town is called. Here are some of the Grand Cru vineyards that we have in the area. All the dark yellow spots are Grand Crus. And you see Bockenheim to the right, Horst in the middle, and then Diedensheim in the top. And these also are the type of soils, if you can scroll up a little bit, Mike.
That's
So you
really
see
cool.
those-
It's so beautiful there. Kelly, are you frozen? I think Kelly's frozen. Yeah, that's okay.
Frozone. No.
Hopefully she'll catch back up with us. She has had technical issues. It's so interesting to see this beautiful property, I would say. That's one of the things that I was thinking I might do sometime soon if we could get to the German wine regions, because you really can't learn about something unless you go there.
Yeah, and you can see the different soil context here. I mean, you've got some gravelly soils, you have some slate soils, and you have the same situation that happens here when you get to the Mosel, where you see this sort of broken up slate that's here, the gray slate. So the terroir in Germany is really varied depending on where you are, and also what the soil content is. So it really changes a lot for what the winemakers are going to grow, and then also how they're going to tend to the vineyards as well. I mean, we see the Mosel here, if everybody can see that Mosel and how steep that is. I mean, that's incredible how steep it is, and that really changes how you plant the grapes. It's one of the reasons why when we talked about Riesling from Mosel in our class here at Aragon, and why we talked a lot about how important it is that these slopes and the way that they are in respect to the rivers really help to ripen those grapes effectively. But you can see the faults here too. It's a different incline. It's a different.
Right.
It's a more gradual slope than you see here at the Mosel.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the Mosel is about 70%. And when you're in I'm back. I'm sorry. We're having weather move through, and I'm having internet issues. So this has been a complete challenge. I have done seminars with people from Germany, from France. I've never had the issues I'm having this evening, so I apologize, guys. But yeah, just to show the very extreme diversity in the landscaping versus the Mosel, much more rolling hills, almost Alsatian. And if you go into France, you're not that far parallel-wise with Alsace, so the landscapes are very different to that. And in the Mosel, you have very steep slopes, whereas in the Villa Wolf area in the falls, you have a little bit more of limestone. You have a lot more of clay. It's rockier, so it's not that really dramatic all slate soils. We are, as a company, trying to move towards organics. I think that's on the next slide. So the 2019 harvest will be our normal harvest, and this was the 2020 harvest that they've almost completed now is a phenomenal harvest. I mean, they are talking about this might be a 100-point rating for the 2019s, and they're saying that the 2020s are as good as well. So we're hoping to be certified by 2022 in organic. That will be for our state vineyards. We still purchase some fruit. It's a lot of contracted growers still down there. Germany is very much like that. In the Mosel, I think there's still 2,200 growers in the Mosel. So there's a lot of small farmland. And here's just some bottle shots of the Pinot Gris, the Rosé, and the Gewürztraminer. I didn't have the Pinot Noir bottle shot. They were trying to get it to me from Germany, but they couldn't give it to me in time. So.
Well, I'm glad we mentioned the Gewürztraminer because when we were doing our Riesling class here last week. Was it last week? I don't know. It feels like everything these days, I can never tell what day is what. But we were doing a Riesling class, and Kelly was kind enough to supply us with some of those wines from Lozen. We did Bernkastel Lai, and we did some Robert Weil, and we did a couple other wines. But we were eating some great food from Khan's that's downtown here, which is a great Southeast Asian cuisine. So if anybody's ever looking to pair wines with Southeast Asian cuisine, the Pinot Gris would be great that we're tasting now. Gewürztraminer, even more so to a degree. So if anybody ever gets a chance to go to Khan's, try a glass of Gewürztraminer, or if you want to try some Gewürztraminer next time you get Thai takeout, I think you will be really, really happy with the results for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
I love the style of our Gewürztraminer because it's got really good acid to meet up with the residual sugar. And in the Falls region in general, you find that the acidity of the levels are really, really good. All of our wines, the Pinot Noirs, the Pinot Gris, the Gewürztraminers, always have that really lovely driving acidity to them that just really mirrors with the fruit. Because if you had less acidity in this Pinot Gris, it would be a really flabby wine. It would just it would just be all fruit, and it really wouldn't have any structure. And the same thing with the Pinot Noir. If you had less acid, then it's all just that bright Bing cherry, and you would really have no structure to the wines. And I think that's one of the reasons that Ernie was really attracted to that area to produce these style of wines. It's funny that you mentioned the Gewürztraminer, Michael, because up until probably 5 years ago, the Gewürztraminer was our #1 selling varietal from Villa Wolf. And then the Pinot Gris overtook it because people fell in love with this wine. If this is not a porch pounding wine, I don't know what is.
I love that.
I don't know if I didn't see the technical information on it. I mean, forgive me, everybody out there who thinks that your local neighborhood wine consultant knows everything, but is there Lee's contact on this one, or I can't remember.
No, not really. We have a little bit of residual sugar that kind of lifts up that fruit. That's why you're getting that more of that unctuous flavors from that. It's all stainless steel fermented. And it does see a little bit of neutral oak, but only just to kind of soften off the acidity a bit. But aside from that, it's just a lovely balanced wine. And I really think that Pinot Gris from that region in general, not just from us, but from other producers as well, probably one of the better areas for Pinot Gris in Germany, in my opinion. And I actually stack this up against some French Pinot Gris personally.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very much like an Alsatian Pinot Gris in the fact that it has some voluptuousness to it. It has really depth of some tropical sort of notes, but it still has the aromatic and the lift and the acidity to sort of keep it really clean and fresh and bright. It's a great Pinot Gris.
Yeah, we
formally announced it.
I know, we should formally announce it.
I don't know why it doesn't show up the label, but maybe the light. So if you can, it's like in the store.
There it is.
And it is pretty much empty now because
from the first sip, we both looked at each other. It was like, oh wow, like it filled my mouth and was just like, and completely different from what I expected. I don't know why.
I'm ashamed to say we've had the Pinot Noir, we've had the Rosé in the store for years. This is our first time experiencing the Pinot Gris, and I won't be the last. It'll be one that I feel like I can grab off the shelf and take home for dinner or take to a party. If you want to surprise somebody with something that they haven't tried before, which I always like to try and open people's minds to things that they may have not tried, instead of picking the regular old Chardonnay cab to people's houses. And I'm a big fan. I think it sells in the store for $14, which is, come on, that's
buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you're talking about Thanksgiving too, and Pinot Gris, the grape itself is a wonderful Thanksgiving white wine grape because it has some of the body, it has some of the viscosity to it, but it still is kind of crisp and helps to balance out something that's might have a rich side to it as a dish. It's always really hard. We were talking about in the beginning to pair wines with Thanksgiving dinner because there's so many different varied things going on, especially in the South, because we have the Southern people that like their Southern stuff, and then we have the transplants that bring their Yankee New England stuff, me, to the equation. So it can be.
And then you have the Cajun infusion.
Yeah,
so
right.
Cajun, Southern, Yankee, Thanksgiving.
Right.
So it's hard
minutia.
that can fit that, I think, very easily because it can go with seafood, like if you're having like your oyster sort of stuffing, whatever, or anything spicy, and then just it could be great with turkey or anything like that. So something to keep in mind that they're looking for those people that they're hard to pair wines with, that they have the relatives are like, they don't want to have buttery Chardonnay or oaky Chardonnay. They don't like French wine. They don't like this. This is a great option for that.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this will be in our Thanksgiving box because this is what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for those wines that will go very well with Thanksgiving dinner and a lot of things, and that it's a crowd pleaser. People might not understand. Oh, maybe it's a little sweet. No, it's not. It is German. It's not a Riesling. Try it, and I think this will be a sure bet for Thanksgiving box.
And I don't know if we said it during the broadcast already, but like this wine, we were talking about blind tastings earlier, and this wine would be one to me, and Charlotte said earlier that you wouldn't be able to tell what it was.
I wouldn't necessarily say Pinot Gris, because I would say Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, same grape. A lot of people maybe aren't so sure about that.
What does that mean? It's just a different
same
processing?
grape, maybe just a different style. So Pinot Grigio in Italy is maybe a leaner, crisper. The Alsatian and German Pinot Gris is like a heavier, richer, but it's the same grape, just totally different style. So if you like Pinot Grigio, try it. You may find that this might be your winner Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, I always find that, this is one of those things where if you take it with a group of people, whether you have a Chardonnay drinker, whether you have a Sauvignon Blanc drinker, this meets everybody in the middle. And, and I brought it to places where it was predominantly Chardonnay drinkers. And I personally am not a big Chardonnay fan myself. So I bring stuff that I like, and every time it satisfies every palate that's in there, regardless of what they're drinking.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I think we're lucky we found this one before Thanksgiving, because I think it's going to be our go-to suggestion here at the wine store for sure.
Absolutely.
And not just Thanksgiving, but
I'm always fascinated by these. And I talked about this at a wine event that I did in Destin, that sushi pairing for a birthday party that I did a few months ago. Yeah, it would be good with sushi. This would be really good with sushi. But, we have this, some of us, have this minimal knowledge of wines. In the Chardonnay, there are these couple of varietals. You've got a Chardonnay, you've got a Merlot, you've got this, you've got that. But this is different and complex, and yet it's at $14 a bottle. So why not try it and just explore whether or not you like it? Instead of fitting yourself into that box of I know Chardonnay, so I like Chardonnay, and so that's what I'm going to drink.
Well, that's why I think hopefully these virtual wine tastings, and just any of the wine tastings, even whether it's wherever you are, if they've got a wine tasting, go to it and try everything. I always say you can always pour it out if you don't like it. At least that's why you go to these things, is to try different things. And so hopefully that's opened our minds up to other things. So I am ready to move on to the Pinot Noir, since I'm almost finished with my Pinot Gris. Let's grab it. Yeah. So this is the Pinot Noir. Looks the same, different, a little different, but tell us a little bit, Kelly, about the Pinot Noir. So Fix might need a little. He's given us
Oh, is that what you're doing? Okay.
So we've had this in the store, and it's been a favorite for years. So tell us a little bit about it. It's stainless and then some barrel fermented.
Yes, so the Pinot Noir, first of all, and most people don't realize this, that Germany is the third largest Pinot Noir producing country in the world. And I think one of the reasons that most people don't realize it is early in the 80s and 90s, the Pinot Noirs that were coming from Germany were not wonderful. They were very light. They were really acid driven. They didn't have structure to them. But they figured out how to grow Pinot Noir really well. And given global warming as it is, now more regions are making more Pinot Noir and more of it. So our biggest problem when we first started making the Pinot Noir, popularity of it, everybody really liked it. Juicy, being cherry, really bright, good acidity, nice fruit. I call it the pizza pasta wine. You come home, you're not really sure what you want to order, pizza or just dump some pasta in a pot. This is the perfect wine with it. And we've had people like Disney who have gone crazy for this wine. During the Epcot Food and Wine Festival the last 3 years, they featured. So, I mean, it's become quite popular. And, again, it's that stainless steel fermentation with a little bit of oak on it. Nothing that we want to do crazy. So we don't want to have a lot of oak influence. We really want to highlight that really juicy, jammy goodness. It's just a fabulous. It's also a good thing for your Thanksgiving table too, because turkey, ham, it can go either direction with it. Pinot Noir is very.
I do think. I think Pinot Noir is like one of those go-to wines when you think Thanksgiving, because it does like ham, and because a lot of people don't, believe it or not, we were talking about this. A lot of people really just don't drink white, and I think more people maybe drink red. But we were saying that people that drink white drink it.
I was going to say you have to finish your statement. I think it came out actually. More people drink red, but the people that drink white drink more of it. One phrase. So that's an accurate depiction of the conversation.
So you need both. You need both. But honestly, we sell a ton of Pinot during the holidays, and it is because it just goes with a lot of stuff. And again, the price point on this is
$16 a bottle.
So Absolutely. It's also going to be one of those that's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, and you can chill this. You can chill this bottle too. You can throw it in the fridge for about 15 or 20 minutes before you're going to serve it. You do the 20-20 rule. You take your white wine out of the fridge for 20 minutes before you pour it, and then you put your red wine in the fridge for 20 minutes before you pour it. And you can strike a balance even between more people as well, because you can give them, when you've toned down the temperature a little bit on this wine, you're going to be able to mitigate, even though this isn't very tannic, you're going to mitigate a little bit of that tannin too for those people that maybe aren't your red wine drinkers. So help push them over, as it were, now when that football's back, I'm trying to use all my football terms to sell wine, right? But I think it's really interesting too to think about how this wine behaves. Kelly was talking about how the Pinot has changed in Germany, and we talked about climate change. This is something that we've talked about a lot on these broadcasts. We might have people listening that think that the climate change thing is not a real thing. We work with farmers, Kelly and I, and Charlotte and Jessica. We work with farmers. Ernie Logan, he might be around there on he wears a lot of shirts like this, actually, I think, Kelly, if I'm not mistaken. He wears a lot of gingham looking shirts. And he's got his beautiful long locks. But he's the guy who's got his family history is in the vineyards, is being, really a farmer. And there's a reason why I like to talk about this a lot, because people get surprised when they hear that Pinot Noir is doing better here because of climate change or this or that. It's a real thing. Get used to it. But because of that, we get to experience Pinot Noir from new places that have different terroirs and almost become some of our most favorite wines that we never would have considered before.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm curious to the people that are watching, what's your take on this Pinot, if Pinot lovers out there, because there are a lot of Pinot lovers out there. I find it's 100, to me, it's like one of those Pinots that just says, I'm Pinot. It screams, I'm Pinot. It's very classic. It's light, as Pinot should be. And it's got that cherry. I mean, it's just the classic Pinot.
It's light and juicy, and yet it still has kind of a little spicy,
structure,
a nice structured mid palate. It's really.
Kelly, you're the expert on this
Yes,
one. How would you
tell us all
describe
about
it?
Well, I think it's a departure from American Pinots for sure, because American Pinots tend to have a little bit. Well, first of all, it gets more sunshine in California. Oh, now unfortunately not in California these days with the wildfires, but in general, it gets more in Oregon, in California, so it creates a much deeper, more juicy Pinot Noir, whereas you get a little bit more of a lighter style out of Germany, and the acid is better. So for the long haul, honestly, Pinots with better acid will age longer. So even if, I always recommend you drink them. I recommend you drink everything now, but if you're looking to.
Someone asked me the other day, so
What a surprise.
with a cork, and I was like,
It's like I always people ask me, what do you do with the leftover bottle of wine? I'm like, I don't even understand what that is. But I mean, if you even laid it down for a couple of years, not that is something that Villa Wolf is ever looking for anybody to do, but I mean, it'll hang in there because that acid level is good and that fruit is really nice and juicy. So the combination of the two will give it a little bit more longevity. So I think the one more bright.
I think this appeals to a California Pinot Noir drinker actually very easily. They're not the same, no, but when you put your nose in it and you get some of the aromatics and then the finish, for somebody who's maybe not as keen on Burgundy, they don't like some of the, especially when you first open a bottle of Burgundy, it might have a little bit more tertiary elements of earth or mushroom or sort of leaves and that kind of thing. And you need to let it open up. And some people aren't that patient. I mean, it's fine to not be that patient with your wine. Not everybody wants to decant their bottle of Burgundy on a Wednesday night for an hour. But this, to me, I think if people like, not necessarily Russian River Pinot Noir from California, but, maybe some of the Monterey wines or some of the, some of those, this could appeal to some people that like those wines. Because some of the aromatics are a little bit similar and the body is really similar, and it's just a really well-balanced wine in a way that I think appeals. If you're really a California person, you probably like this even more than a lot of Burgundies. But you can get some Spätburgunder, which is another Pinot Noir from Germany. I think is Lozen doing Wittmann also? Is that us? Is that Lozen's?
Yes, so
the Wittmann,
Rheinhessen, and he has a delightful Spätburgunder. Honestly, it's really, really good. And we have Maximum Brewhouse also makes a Pinot Noir. We have Pinot Noir vineyards in the Mosel, which is kind of a funny story because nobody grows Pinot Noir in the Mosel. It's all Riesling. So Ernie bought this vineyard sight unseen. Somebody said, hey, I got a vineyard in the Erzinger Wirtsgarten. So he just assumed it was Riesling. He buys it. Next vintage comes rolling around. His vineyard manager says, you need to get up here, man. There's something really wrong with these grapes. And he's like, what is it? He goes, they're turning red.
Oh, my God.
Out there, and it's Pinot Noir. So he calls the guy. Now, the guy he bought it from is like 108 years old. So Ernie calls the guy. He's like, why did you not tell me that this was Pinot Noir? And the guy very simply says, you never asked me. And
that's hilarious.
He's like,
that's hilarious.
Valid, sir.
So he figured he couldn't make a still wine out of it, so he made a sparkling wine out of it.
Oh, nice.
He didn't love it, so he decided to hold it on the lees for 7 years. And now we have a vintage rosé sparkling wine from the Mosel.
I'm in.
I'm like,
Right?
That sounds
are you?
awesome.
I think you should be taking notes. Absorb. Let's buy that.
Can we get some in the
Must have it.
United States?
Where is this wine? Where is this wine, Kelly? When can I get some?
Bubbleita here, so if it's got bubbles in it,
I think there's some in Virginia. I don't
I can
think
go to
that there's
Virginia.
any on Florida, but you can bring with it. They only make 206 packs. It's it's the vineyard, and then that's
Dude,
it.
I would love to try that. That sounds
what a trip.
incredible. Yeah, well, we have friends in Virginia. We'll have them ship some or something. I see that Pam Davy has joined us, and she says that it says it's a lovely Pinot Noir and a great value, and that is true. Thanks, Pam, for joining us.
And thank you for always joining us. Yeah, we really appreciate you
Pam
guys.
and Bill usually tune in. They're really good.
They fought the
customers.
traffic across the bridges and they made it home. She said, I don't think we're going to make it home in time tonight. 6:09, you did great.
Yeah, right. And so if Pam and Bill, if you ever need any wine, we can always send some with Fix.
Yeah, I have done it. I have done it before. I can make the trek. Gulf Breeze, and then deliver it in the late morning the next day, and show up, smiling or somewhat sleepy-eyed, and bring it to your house. It's okay. It's part of the job, so it's all right. I don't mind.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan, and like I said, we've sold it for in the store for many years. I don't always grab Pinot. It's just, I don't know. It's just not my jam. But when I do drink a good one, I appreciate it, and I definitely appreciate this one. It's delicious. So
that's why we mentioned the Spätburgunder from Dietmann and Grunhaus, because if somebody wants something that's a little more serious, maybe that has a little more tannin or a little more depth to it, that they can decant or they can even hang on to for a while. We have some of the Pinot Noirs from Germany that are, maybe something you might want to open on a Saturday or maybe on a holiday if you want the Dietmann, which is a great producer that is a biodynamic producer from the Rheinhessen, and so we have some really, really cool producers that make some other Pinot Noirs from some other areas. That if you really like this and you want to jump up to like that little bit more serious style, then they're out there.
So we're talking about Willow Wolf tonight, but Dr. Lucen, I mean, we can't go without talking about Dr. Lucen and that brand. It's well known. I think, Kelly, if you can jump in and give us a little history and tell us about that.
I can. I'm going to do something crazy, and I'm going to jump back to the computer because now my iPad is losing power.
Oh no, you're losing.
Well, we'll see if it works.
We see you. We see you.
All right.
Look at you. You were
Look
double
at
you.
those, I know. Look at those technical abilities. Oh, but we lost sound. Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
A little wonky.
How about now?
Oh, now it's super echoey.
We got an echo.
All right, hang on a second. Better?
Yeah, much better.
Awesome.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, Ernie Losen, his family has been in the Mosel for over 200 years. One of the oldest families in the area. We actually own about 40 acres, so we're one of the largest landowners in all of the Mosel. Ernie, again, typical Ernie story. So his family is 5 siblings, and so his father got sick, and they were going to sell the winery unless one of the kids were willing to take it over. So at the time, Ernie was in archaeology school. So basically, his brothers and sisters got together and said, "Listen, what are the odds that this guy is going to end up getting a job in archaeology? He's got to be the one. He's got to be the one that takes over the winery." So they basically elected him in. But he grew up in the winery, so And just he came back and said he wanted to do things his way, and if he could do it, then he would take it over. And so the rest is history. He took it over in 1983.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and such a name. I mean, you know, when you see the losing name, you know it's quality. You know it's going to be something that, like, I mean, I don't, like I said, I'm ashamed to say I don't really know a lot about German wines, but I know the losing name, and I know that, like, that's going to be something that I would be comfortable buying or recommending to people. So that's why I keep it in the store.
Yeah, he's got a very simple philosophy. He's, you know, make it consistent, make it consistently good. And, you know, the cost of harvest in the Mosel has quadrupled for him over the last 10 years, but he still hasn't raised his prices. Even with the tariffs, and he cut into his margins to keep the wines at a level that, you know, people could still purchase.
Yeah, that's nice. That's so good. And you know, the whole family aspect is nice too, you know, to have, you know, family history, which we.
And I think people have a misconception of German wines, frankly. I think they think, oh, Germany, it's all sweet. Well, it's because it's our history with the wine. So the GIs came over after World War II, and they brought all the inexpensive stuff with them because that's all they could afford. So the demand for that inexpensive stuff was very, very high at the time. But unfortunately, it took Germany a little while to catch up with updating what they were doing in Germany to the American market. So it really is in the last 15 years that, you know, serious wines and even dry wines have been coming out of there.
Well, and we have a wonderful question from my dad. Hi, Dad. He said he may have missed it, but what's the most popular Villa Wolf wine that they sell?
Well, the number one wine that we sell from Villa Wolf now is the Rosé.
Oh, wow.
And we've had that in the store. It's delicious. Yeah. And you know, it's interesting though, because, I mean, I know Rosé is popular and it is gotten even more trendy and popular in the United States, but it has been in the world. Is it because of the trend in the United States that it's the most popular, or is it just the worldwide fact that everybody does like rosé?
I think it's a worldwide fact. I mean, certainly the American population has gotten on board in a very big way in the last 5 years with rosés, and so when you're 340 million people strong, you know, that changes how much you can sell in the country. But I think in general, rosés are very popular in Europe and have been for a long time. For us, it was just a situation where we couldn't keep up with our production. Our popularity was so high, but we couldn't keep it up, and we finally caught up in the last couple of years.
I remember when I opened the, sorry to cut you off, Vix. I was just going to say, when I opened the wine store 12 years ago, when I was doing my research, in France, it was red wine, rosé, and then white wine in popularity. So rosé was more popular than white wine in France, you know, 13 years ago. So I can see where we're finally catching up.
Yeah, and I'm from that like rosé all day movement. I love, as a wine novice, I love rosé, but I am constantly. We had a customer in here earlier that was like, "Oh, but I've just been introduced to rosés, and they're not all sweet." And it was like, "Yes, no, they're not." You know? So still, you know, you're still breaking down that barrier of
people are still learning.
Boone's Farm, you know, White Zin, very, very, actually, I have a for White Zin. Very, very, very sweet wine is what their perception is, when the reality is that they're not.
Still fighting that. We're still fighting that, I guess, here in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's fascinating that that's their bigger one.
Yeah.
More so than the Riesling.
Yes, because pink wines in America have always been White Zinfandel. Like, that has been our pink wine. So people saw pink and they thought sweet. You can thank the millennials, because they at least read a little bit out there, and they figured out, hey, you know, rosé's pretty cool, and in fact, we're going to call it rosé, and all the boys can drink rosé too. And
we love our
God bless them, because if it weren't for them, rosé probably wouldn't be as advanced as they are in the United States today.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated by our little millennial, you know, college 20, 23, 24.
So that's not millennials anymore.
Oh, wait.
No, that's Gen Z.
Oh.
Millennials are older now. We should not quit. We should quit calling this new generation
Gen
millennials
Z.
because it's Gen Z. Millennials are older now. So millennials are literally having children. And then
I'm an elder. We're called elder millennials, actually.
Yeah.
I'm an elder. Listen to my ways. Another great question.
If you buy a Pinot Noir rosé from Oregon, you're probably going to spend for a good bottle over $20.
Oh yeah.
$4, $25 a bottle from some of the producers in Oregon. I also have those, by the way. But they're going to be like $25. But a Pinot Noir rosé from Villanova is not going to cost you $25.
No, it's
So
yeah.
there's a reason, also another reason why it is one of the most popular wines, because, you know, it's not from an area that's garnering that same price point as well.
Right.
So I think that now is the time to buy in on Pinot Noir Rosé from Villanova. Now is the time.
Yeah, good point.
A question that we just had come in that I think is a really good one. Thanks, Dad. And maybe from a broader spectrum, the question was, what is the best temperature to serve a German rosé? But, you know, I don't know if it's German rosé specific. What's the best temperature to serve a rosé, Chardonnay, you know, something of that nature versus this Pinot Noir? What are the good temperatures?
Her fix is usually.
I keep my chillers as both red and white. My chillers are at 55, and I find those temperatures are perfect for both red and white. Like Michael said, you know, I like to warm up my white wines a little bit so I can get more of the flavors, and I actually like to chill down my red wines so I can get more of the flavors, because especially in Florida, right? It's 9,000 degrees outside. If you're drinking something at room temperature, the room temperature is 78 degrees.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're drinking red wine, it's all acid. And when you're drinking, you know, white wine, the coldness will mask the fruit. So you're not getting the optimal temperature. So 55 is what I find comfortable for Florida.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree also that you don't want their whites too cold because you cannot taste the flavor, or rosés. You don't want them too cold because you can't taste the flavor. Again, with the reds, you want them a little chilled just because it is so freaking hot here.
Yeah.
Kelly, where are you coming up from here? Where are you located?
I'm in Fort Lauderdale, but I have deep roots in Pensacola. My aunt and uncle live there. And my boyfriend lives in Florida at Pensacola Naval Station.
Well, we hope you'll come and visit us soon. I know you had a trip planned this year that maybe got postponed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, as everything seemed to have gotten postponed this year. But thank you so much for joining us. And we really hope that you will come and see us. And then maybe we'll do one of these tastings here in the store. And everyone here that's maybe watching can meet Kelly.
There we go. And we'll have the rosé.
Well, we'll talk about those bubbles. I'm gonna still talk to you about that. You might be getting an email.
Thank you, Kelly.
No worries, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but I'm glad it all worked out. And drink well and stay safe.
Bye. So cool. She's a nice lady, and we hope that she does get to come to Pensacola.
I know.
She's been here before, I know, and it's good that she's got relatives here, and so that's pretty cool.
Fix, I feel like we have 100 things to say, and we want you to say them. So are you muted, sir?
I was muted. I didn't mute myself. I don't know what happened. You know, it's one of those weird instances where somebody mutes you, maybe, or I muted myself by accident.
Don't be blaming us. We didn't.
That was the first thing we checked.
No, we
It's
looked. We went
2020. I'm willing to blame other people for everything in 2020, so it's okay. But I was saying about the Pinot Noir Rosé, when Kelly was saying why is it so popular, I think it's because of the fact that if you get a Pinot Noir Rosé from another area, it typically costs a lot more money.
Yeah.
So if you get a Pinot Noir Rosé from Oregon, you're going to spend probably $20 minimum. If you get a Pinot Noir Rosé from Sonoma or something like that, maybe it's 15, 16, 18 bucks. But it probably not. It's probably more. So there's a reason why the Pinot Noir Rosé is as popular as it is, because it's really affordable.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a burgeoning region. It's not something that's got the high demand for it. So get it while the getting's good, I would say, at this price point. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's all I had to say before when somebody muted me.
Well, actually, we have next week is from what I hear, a tale of two Pinots. Dun dun dun. So yes.
So,
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, so next week, we're excited because we're not sure what it'll be called next week, has set up Master Sommelier to come and join us. And we are going to do a tale of two Pinots. And so we're going to have two Pinot Noirs, even though we have one Pinot Noir. These are going to be some special Pinot Noirs.
Definitely.
So it's going to be two Pinot Noirs, one from New Zealand, one from Australia, and the Master Sommelier is going to come and give us everything he's got about these.
I will have my listening fingers on. My mouth closed.
Me too.
Oh, now you're listening.
Now
Okay. Well, we've got really two incredible Pinot Noirs that have a long, one of which has a really long history in Australia as far as Australian winemaking, with an Australian winemaking family. So I think that's going to be really, really cool for everybody. And it's actually the Shaw and Smith. Yeah. And we've had that in the shop in the past. It's come in and out a few times. And so some people have had a chance to experience it. And then we also have one from New Zealand, from the two paddocks. With the magic of television. There we are. All right. It's right in front of our screen. And this is really cool because Sam Neill is the proprietor that owns this vineyard. If anybody doesn't know who Sam Neill is, he's an actor.
Sam Neill is an actor.
And you might know him. You might know him from Jurassic Park. He was Dr. Grant, I believe, in Jurassic Park. But he's bought into a winery or bought his own winery and bought his own estate holdings. And I'm sure Ron will talk more about this and has his own winemaker. But we have Ron Edwards, who's going to come on next week, who's a master sommelier. There's not very many of them in the United States or in the world. So if anybody has questions, if anybody has questions about the wine, or if they have questions, really, if you have a question about anything about sommeliers, please bring them with you. If you have questions about any other wines, bring them, ask them, because, Ron is a wealth of knowledge, and he's a really down to earth and great guy. And I think everybody's really going to love talking to him. He's really fun, and he loves wine, as we all do. So he's going to be really, really fun to chat with next Thursday, for sure.
Well, I'm excited about that, and I'm really going to encourage everybody that's watching now, and we'll encourage them in our email as well to put some questions together, because
absolutely.
My gosh, I'm going to.
The questions are great. And I say this often. I feel hesitant to ask some of the questions that I want to ask, just because I am the quote unquote novice of the group to some degree. And I laugh when other friends of mine say, "Oh, are you going to be a sommelier?" I'm like, no, I'm nowhere near that, right? No. But I'm hesitating to ask a question. I'm sure that some of our audience or some of our customers have those questions. And if they don't yet, maybe they will. And so answering that information, or, asking those questions and getting that information, they always say in math class, the one kid that raises their hand, there are multiple other kids in the class that have that same question. So I think
my suggestion is to drink at least a glass and a half or two before you join the broadcast. And you will not be afraid to ask any questions at that point. So if you drink at least two, this is the doctor's orders to everybody for next week. I'm prescribing you, before you join the broadcast, to drink at least one whole glass of wine and then ask questions, because you will be perfectly fine with whatever question you ask, and we will not have any care in the world for your spelling or punctuation, and we will answer them with all the best intentions.
Honestly, you're not even having to raise your hand in front of a class. You're literally having to type
Only
something
we
in
can
on
see the
Facebook.
comments. That's right.
We're the only ones that see
I
it,
could show them.
and then we say it. I mean, come on. I mean, it's
I love
not
the
like
questions.
it's, you know.
And it's really cool because it's New Zealand and and Australia. We did a New Zealand Pinot Noir a few months ago, right? We did did we do one with Chloe Henri? Maybe we didn't. I can't.
We did the Yalumba portfolio with the Shiraz.
Okay, so we haven't done any Pinot Noir from the Southern Hemisphere, so that's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me because you
Yeah.
hit that. You talked about that in one of our first wine tastings. Southern Hemisphere, warm climate, how it affects the wine. And it was like, oh, well, that makes sense, And it's all these things, all these components that go into it that open, that epiphany of wine to me. And
also, it's the reverse too, because it's the Southern Hemisphere, and we think that it's going to be warm, because we're thinking, equatorially. But also, if you go to places like New Zealand, or if you go to places like Patagonia in Argentina, these are not the same kind of warm climates that we're thinking of as well. So they have patches where they're cooler, or they're affected by the ocean or by mountains. So you can grow something like Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, or you can make sparkling wine. So it's not quite the reverse, because there are those little patches that make a difference. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I really hope everybody comes in, because these are some really spectacular wines. Some of my most favorite.
Spectacular wines. They're not bargain wines. They are.
Yes, they are.
They're quality wines, but they're not. They're not
quality wines.
They're quality wines, but I mean, be prepared to maybe spend a little more than you do normally for our tastings.
Yeah, we try to do a balance. We've done a good job of a balance of
Most
really
of our wines
moderately
are moderately priced. These are a little more than what we normally do, but we're following the holidays.
Yes.
But listen, after that drive over the Garcon Point Bridge home from Pensacola, don't you deserve a little bit of a better a more expensive bottle on a Wednesday or a Thursday? A Thursday or a Friday? Come on, you do. You definitely do.
And these are what the Master Somm wanted to do. And this is
that's what he picked. Yeah.
And so we are going to follow his guide, and so that's what we're doing. And I see Pam Davey who says none from Tasmania. She's still talking about the Tasmanian. We'll get those to you mid-October. Is that correct, Fix?
Allegedly.
We're hoping, yeah. We don't carry a lot of them because they're really small production. But we'll see. We're trying. We're trying to keep them. Yeah.
Trying to get some Tasmanian wines in for anybody.
We can get Tasmanian sparkling wine almost any day of the week here in the shop if you wanted to. So.
Tasmanian sparkling.
Yeah, the Jans sparkling.
Oh, I think I got that order this week.
Yeah. Yes.
We got it in right now.
Yeah, so if you want some Tasmanian sparkling wine that's made with Pinot Noir, then
wine in right now.
It may not be Pennsylvania, but it's Tasmania for Halloween. But I digress.
Yeah.
That's another conversation.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what we do for that.
And Tasmania is really cool. It has some of the. I think it's the highest daylight hours of sun exposure in the entire world, I think, for wine growing regions, if I remember correctly. So don't quote me on that, but it is a unique terroir and environment for making, for growing grapes. It's really cool.
Interesting.
Awesome. All right.
Well,
we're going to send you away. Awesome. Well, that was fun tonight.
That was wonderful.
Thanks everybody for joining in. I liked Kelly's German wine presentation. I don't know a lot about German wines, and I'm still learning, and so it's pretty interesting to hear about. I think they're turning the lights off on us.
They're playing the Oscar music.
I know.
They are playing the Oscar send-off. We are in a minute and 3 seconds, and they are telling us to shut down.
Turn on the light. We need to.
I know. Oh my goodness. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we're not done. Here we are.
We're still here. But anyway, we're not still here.
No, we're about to finish
So we're
up.
finishing up. But hope you guys will all join us next week.
That's right. Next week, Tell Us Who Pinots. I'm definitely going to get some bio information of our sommelier, and so you can have a good understanding of his knowledge and just who he is coming in.
It's going to be super
into
exciting.
Wine. It's so exciting.
There's not that many of them around, and so the fact that that we're going to have somebody come join us is pretty
master.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we also do have available the virtual wine boxes that we've done for the first 12 and the second 12, working on the third 12 box.
Absolutely.
So if you guys didn't get to try all
That's right.
the wines for the virtual wine tastings, we still are selling those at a discount. So
Yep, that's right.
talk to Jessica.
That's right. 15% discount. You know, we've gone through multiple weeks of this wine tasting, and so we boxed them in case 1 and case 2. We'll be open for tastings again. Anita, thank you for asking that question.
Anita, yeah, probably in November is when we're thinking. We're also doing small private events at the store. If you're looking to get together with your girlfriends and maybe do, I don't know, just a girls' night out or a small.
And we haven't even talked about this, but we're on camera on premise. If they wanted to come in and have a glass of wine on site, you know, small, you know,
we're doing
small groups,
stuff,
maintaining distancing. We're doing all of that right now and being respectful of that as we graduate into. But November. We're looking
November, we're going to continue to do this format through October. We've got it all booked up and we've got some great stuff planned. Into November is when we think we'll probably do our 13th year celebration, small party, and then move into the regular format of regular wine tastings here in the store. So. But we'll see. We're playing everything by ear, so don't hold me to that. Just because.
And I think that's so important. Like as a business owner, we have, you know, we're making the decision of what's best for
everybody,
and for us and our customers, and so just gradually migrating back towards that. And so November, we hope to see your pretty faces.
But if you want a private event, we're still able to do those too.
That's
as
right.
Well. So
absolutely.
Just get with Jessica on those. She's in charge of all the events.
I conduct all of this trip. So, thank you so much for tuning in.
Enjoyed the wines tonight. I did.
I did a little bit too much.
I know.
Perhaps they're gone. All right.
Direction.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Bye.